Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ora News broadcast. I'm Daniel Cook, your host for the English edition, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. And now, today's news. The investigations are continuing into the huge theft from the Central Bank of Albania, and the list of suspects is growing. It appears that Adrian Bitrajt and Mimoza Bruzia were not the only two people implicated in the grand theft at the Central Park, and now the circle of suspects has begun to widen. Sources closer to the investigative group have stated that the police are verifying the names of other officials of the bank, whose duty was to control the cash and place it in inventory. According to the investigators, it is very strange that in 4 years there have been no inventories taken, and this fact has created the possibility for Adrian Bitrajt and Mimoza Bruzia to take money from the most important department of the central bank, the Department of Emission. Investigators have strong suspicions that there have been other individuals who have cooperated in this grand theft. Regarding this matter, the prosecutors of the case have requested the confiscation of the security cameras in Section X in order to observe both suspects during the last 4 years. Sources say that it is possible that the vault that the money was stolen from is not equipped with a security camera. Due to this fact, Bitrajt managed to steal money and hide it underneath his clothes. The investigators are also interrogating the safety personnel in the emission department in Linza. From the investigation of the security footage, the police will also be able to see the movements of other members of the staff. Some members of the investigative team went to the casinos where Bitrajt said that he had wasted 6 billion old lek. The cameras of these casinos will also be confiscated in order to observe the suspect who stole money from one of the safest institutions in Albania. Adrian Bitrajt and Mimoza Bruzia will be remembered as the people who pulled off a spectacular theft at the Albanian Central Bank. Both employees were arrested by the police after stealing 600 million lek during the last 4 years in the Central Bank of Albania. The prosecution is working to discover the other people involved in the scandal that led to the theft of 4.5 million euro. An Albanian family is asking for the help of any blood donor with the blood type AB negative. A 35-year-old male is in serious condition in the infection hospital of Tirana after being bitten by a red rat. His brother passed away a few days ago from the same infection. For 5 days, the 35-year-old has been suffering from fever and is currently hospitalized. The family of Nuri Georgi appealed for more citizens to donate blood, since the 35-year-old has the very rare blood type of AB negative. He has a rare blood type, and none of the family can help him. We appeal to anyone who has the blood type to help us, stated the family of Nuri Georgi. They also thanked the doctors for their help. According to the members of the family, the 35-year-old was working in the castle of Doda in Shkodra when he was bitten by a red rat. Both brothers were immediately hospitalized in the hospital of Peshkopia, but unfortunately, one of them could not fight off the infection and died 2 days ago. On the same day, a concerned citizen requested the investigative program Alarm at Ora News to make this case public and to notify the authorities regarding this event. Prime Minister Edi Rama is a father once again. His wife Linda gave birth today, and the name of the boy will be Zaho. This was announced today by Prime Minister Rama through his social networks. His comments were accompanied by a picture of the baby's hand. From the photo, it can be seen that the son of the Prime Minister was dressed in yellow. and the last name Rama is written on his hand. Sources state that the Prime Minister's wife, Linda Rama, and the baby are both in perfect condition after the cesarean operation. This news traveled fast and quickly reached the Law Commission, where deputies of the Socialist Party and the Socialist Movement for Integration congratulated the Prime Minister and his wife on the birth of their son. The name of the baby, Zaho, is an old Albanian name. The Law Commission did not have the necessary quorum to vote for an important draft today, and as a result, they have postponed it until Tuesday. The Law Commission has approved the 145 debated articles regarding the law of the state police, which were proposed by the Interior Minister, Samir Tahiri. They approved these articles without the vote of Tom Doshi. The lack of quorum forced the majority to postpone the approval of the entire law until Tuesday. The majority has once again shown its interior problems, with the creation of a special structure next to the Bureau of Investigation. Spartak Braho had this to say: next to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, it is being organized and is already functioning a National Coordinating Committee against Organized Crime and Corruption. It is being led by the Interior Minister and by the Director of the National Bureau of Investigation, the Director of Investigation of the General Prosecution, the Director of the State Police, and other heads of customs and taxes, stated Spartak Braho. MP Felai said this: I don't agree with this Bureau of Investigations, since it focuses only on a single category. We want to have an effective structure which will follow the law, and this Bureau is against the normal concepts of investigations. Another matter that was discussed was the possibility of merging the Guard of the Republic. The Law Commission could not reach an agreement on this matter. But on her part, the former head of the Parliament, Josefina Topali, stated that today's vote was held without the necessary quorum. She wrote, even today in the Law Commission, Ilir Meta gave orders that Edi Rama wanted to vote on this law under any circumstance. They decided to throw away the elementary procedures and rules of the parliamentary democracy. And this is all the fault of Ilir Meta, wrote the former head of the parliament, Josefina Topali, on Facebook. The opposition leader, Lulzim Basha, has once again come forward with negative statements about Prime Minister Edi Rama and his government. The head of the municipality of Tirana, Lulzim Basha, accused his political rival, saying that he suffers from the complexes of the past. Basha stated that the entire work of the government is being led by an old legacy, which is the mentality of fighting your political opponents. An old legacy follows us, he said. This legacy has nothing to do with high quality, but it is focused on having a political war and preventing citizens from moving forward, stated the mayor of Tirana and the head of the Democratic Party, Lulzim Basha. Basha also listed some of the municipality's projects that have been blocked by Prime Minister Rama. Our work should be a challenge to move forward, but Rama turned it into a challenge to block the municipality, added Mayor Basha. The Democratic Party has once again accused Prime Minister Edi Rama, this time concerning his decision to close the law school in Tirana. During a press conference, the deputy of the Democratic Party, Edward Halimi, stated that Prime Minister Rama and the head of the parliament, Ilir Meta, are going against the calls of the international representatives. He said, yesterday, Rama and Meta approved the changes to the law school, and with arrogance, they ignored the international representatives who were against this decision. The European Union, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, and the United States of America asked Rama and Mehta not to approve any law in the judicial system without consulting and cooperating with all actors of this system and the international representatives. They all requested that Rama respect the Euro-Atlantic principles and standards, and they tried to tell him that laws cannot be approved in one night, just to please certain individuals. Both Rama and Mehta decided to ignore the international representatives and approved the law by themselves, stated the deputy of the Democratic Party, Edward Halimi. According to him, this pair is trying to captivate the justice institutions, to go back to 2005, when the judicial system was led by the deputies of the Socialist Party. Rama wants to politically control the judicial system, to send us back in time to 2005, when the head of the High Court was also the former Minister of Justice, when the head of the Constitutional Court was also the former head of the Law Commission, and when deputies of the Socialist Party were judges in all courts of the country, concluded Halimi. Today, the Minister of Economic Development presented the work done by his institution during the first 300 days of Socialist Party governance. Minister Ahmetai emphasized that the new government has created a work group that has visited 12 industrial areas in the country, which, according to Ahmetai, have failed to fulfill their obligations. Minister Ahmetai emphasized that the development of industrial areas is a priority of the government in order to guarantee employment and economic development. These declarations were made during the summer conference with students from Harvard. He said, "There are 12 industrial areas in the country, and none of them are working. Industrial centers are like a gravitational pull for employment and economic development. These areas can spread economic development in all other sectors and create a chain of values. We are working to prepare a supporting package to attract foreign investors and to develop economic areas in the country in order to use the potential that has not been used so far. During the second 300 days of the government, we will have prepared the project of industrial areas that will serve as a reference point for investors that are interested to come to Albania. We believe that the industrial areas are very important for local businesses and also to promote exports," stated the Minister of Economic Development, Arben Ahmetai. The Minister of Transport, Edmond Hajanasto, has also presented an analysis of the first 300 days of his institution. He said that it has improved the standards and services for the people. Hajanasto added that the reform of public procurement is extremely important in order to create better service. He said, "We will not accept offers which are less than 40% of what we predicted. This means that the engineers who prepared them have been irresponsible, and some of the projects were not concluded. The water supply system is one of our primary challenges, since it is a necessity for increasing efficiency," stated the Minister of Transport, Edmond Hajanasto. He added that all the Albanians must use water more efficiently. "We must be more efficient," he said, "because the numbers are not logical economically, politically, or socially. Water is a national asset. We must use it with care and effectiveness in order to invest even further. We need to work and build a system of water supply," stated Hajanasto. According to Hajanasto, there will also be a reform in order to bring our transport system closer to European standards. The reform in interurban transport is very important. We will create a modern system with modern buses, which will create better conditions for the citizens, stated Minister Hajanasto. Among other things, the minister emphasized the necessity of a new approach to public property by the citizens. he stated that measures will be taken for those who break the law, and considered the theft of traffic signs and train tracks to be unjustifiable. He said, "It is necessary to have a new approach to public property. The lack of a traffic sign can lead to the loss of a life, and everyone must understand this. A small theft can lead to a tragic accident, and that's why I believe that people who commit these crimes cannot be justified. There are 10 times more measures for those who damage public property, since it is everyone's property and must be preserved," stated the Minister of Transport, Edmond Hajanasto. Hajanasto also mentioned the challenges that await his institution, and mentioned the reforms for liberalization of the markets, services, and also the improvement of relationships with technology and innovation. During his speech, the Minister of Transport invited all the concessionaires to respect their obligations in order to create better services. He mentioned projects for new roads and the improvement of those that connect us with the other countries of the region. It is a positive fact that the private sector wants us to have a more positive approach to infrastructure. There is a great interest in our projects, and that is a good sign for us, concluded Minister Hajanasto. Serbia's Foreign Minister, Ivica Dačić, spoke out today about the expectations of the EU, as well as the issue with Russia. Nobody has the right to lecture Serbia, especially not those who brought our own territorial integrity into question, said the Serbian Foreign Minister, Ivica Dačić. When it comes to the position of Serbia, after the crash of a Malaysian aircraft in eastern Ukraine and the deepening of the crisis, there have been no new requests to impose sanctions against Russia and to harmonize the foreign policy of Serbia with the European Union. His comments came after some media reported earlier in the week that the country has been given an ultimatum to this effect. He made this a statement: "Serbia will direct its foreign policy toward reconciliation, taking into account its national and state interests, as do other countries. It's just that their positions are different from Serbia's position. They harmonize their differences in the decision-making process, and Serbia is not part of the decision-making process, and that's why there have recently been rumors about Serbia's decisions. We do not have great disputes with the EU over that, because we are a sovereign country that looks after its national and state interests, and our position is quite clear," said Dačić. The minister also noted that Serbia defends the territorial integrity of the Ukraine, but cannot defend it more than it defended its own territorial integrity. And in that instance, Western countries did not come out gloriously, Dačić said. He further noted that those who violated Serbia's territorial integrity cannot now lecture the country on this subject. He said, "We also expected that all UN member countries would react regarding our territorial integrity." His remarks concern the province of Kosovo, where ethnic Albanians in 2008 unilaterally declared independence, which Serbia rejected, but many Western countries recognized. Dačić then added that it was in Serbia's national interest to develop good relations with Russia, China, and other countries. He said that Serbia strongly condemns the shooting down of the passenger plane over the Ukraine and advocates an independent investigation that will find those responsible for the deaths of 298 people. He added, "We, on the other hand, as a friend of Russia, also cannot support any move that is reprehensible, regardless of whether somebody now suspects Russia, with evidence or without it, since mostly pro-Russian forces are suspected. Serbia is requesting an independent investigation and must not be dragged into the conflict. We will be a factor in the conflict resolution next year as the chair of the OSCE," Dačić concluded. On his part, the special advisor to the Serbian government, Franco Frattini, considers Serbia's role as a bridge between the EU and Moscow, and believes that such a role can help ease the tensions related to the Ukrainian crisis. The fact that Serbia is a good partner of Moscow and a candidate for membership in the EU at the same time is an opportunity for it to act like a bridge and try to explain to Moscow what more needs to be done to reduce the tensions and restore the relations with the EU. A €30 million assistance grant has been approved for Serbia from the funds of the EU. A document was signed on Friday approving €30 million in grants from the IPA funds for the recovery of the 24 flood-hit municipalities in Serbia. The agreement was signed by the head of the EU delegation to Serbia, Michael Davenport, and the Serbian minister without portfolio responsible for EU integration, Mrs. Joksimovic. Davenport and Joksimovic voiced the expectation that Serbia will also be given assistance of €40 to €50 million from the EU Solidarity Fund. Serbia will have access to the funds as if it were already an EU member state, Davenport said in a news conference after signing the agreement in the Obrenovac High School. According to Davenport, by mid-August, Serbia should apply for additional funds, and the EU will decide on the application by the end of the year. Joksimovic said that the last week she submitted the draft application to the EU Commissioner for Regional Policy, Johannes Hahn. The draft refers to the grants worth €40 to €50 million. I expect that the government will adopt the document next week, maybe even on Monday, which means that we will then officially apply it next week, she said. Joksimovic also said that in the process of reassigning the 2014 IPA funds, we managed to channel around €50 million for repair of the flood damage. A total of €150 to €160 million in grants will arrive from the EU for Serbia's flood recovery, she underscored, noting that as far as grants are concerned, the EU is Serbia's biggest donor. The signing of the agreement brought together the president of the Belgrade municipality of Obrenovac, the head of the Office for the Flood-Affected Areas Assistance and Rehabilitation, and the UNOPS Project Center manager in Serbia. After signing the agreement with Joksimovic, Davenport signed the agreements with representatives of 5 partner organizations that were tasked with carrying out activities and work on the ground. Last Friday, the Serbian MPs passed a law on flood damage repair in Serbia with a majority of votes. The law regulates issues related to the repair of the damage and landslides in the areas that were affected by the severe floods that struck Serbia in May. The law stipulates that measures should be immediately taken to return life to the flood and landslide affected areas and to secure basic living conditions for the families and individuals whose homes were destroyed, and create conditions for the restoration of economic and farming activity. Moreover, the damage made to infrastructure facilities in the flood-hit areas needs repair as well. The document adds that a special law is needed in order to provide a legal framework for speeding up the procedures of the recovery process and more flexible conditions for the implementation of systematic solutions that secure this in an effort to ensure sustainable business conditions. At the same time, this specific law will provide the mechanisms for ensuring transparency in spending the donors' funds and other funds that were given to Serbia to help it recover after the floods. Serbia's Foreign Minister Ivica Dačić held a meeting on Tuesday with the new Chinese ambassador to Belgrade. Ivica Dačić, Serbia's first deputy prime minister and foreign minister, as well as the newly appointed Chinese ambassador to Serbia, Li Manchang, agreed on Thursday that relations between the two countries are excellent and showing continuous improvement. Dačić, who received the Chinese ambassador after he took office, underscored that Serbia and China have good relations traditionally, characterized by mutual trust, respect, and support for the most important issues in the interest of the two countries. This is according to a release issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The relations have been improving continually, building on the foundations of the strong strategic partnership, so it is of key importance to continue strengthening the political dialogue and continue making high-level visits, the officials noted. Serbia's Deputy Prime Minister expressed his thanks for the considerable assistance that the Chinese government and people have given in order to help alleviate the adverse effects of the catastrophic floods that hit Serbia in May. Dačić said that Serbia fully backs the cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries within the set framework. He pointed out the importance of joint infrastructure and energy projects that carry regional importance, such as the building of the Obrenovac Highway and the modernization of the Belgrade-Budapest Railway. Ambassador Lee stressed that Beijing attaches great importance to strengthening the relations with Serbia in all fields, and added that during his term of office, he will strive to contribute to improving bilateral relations even further. He will also strive to improve the mechanism for cooperation between China and 16 Central Eastern European countries. Earlier this week, Serbian President Tomislav Nikolić received the letters of credence from the new ambassador of China to Belgrade, Li Mancheng, who said that the two countries are helping each other on issues of key interest. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the news for this evening. Thank you for watching. Please join us again tomorrow at 6 p.m. for more Albanian news in English. Thank you and good night.